This is Hidden Killers Live with Tony Bruschi, Stacey Cole, and Todd Michaels.
This is going to be interesting. 8 days into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, purported ransom notes have become the centerpiece of the public narrative. But the behavioral profile of those notes raises more questions than answers. At least 3 identical letters were sent to media outlets demanding millions in Bitcoin, containing non-public details about Nancy's home, yet providing no way for the family really to respond. The family has now gone on camera saying, "We will pay." What does it all mean? Joining me, we have Robin Dreeke, retired FBI Special Agent, Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, to help break all of this down. We're going to be doing this into a couple different sections here. I want to talk about the ransom notes first, because there's a lot to unpack here, so much that has come out over the weekend about the various notes, the legitimacy of each one of them, the contents of all of them. Robin, ransom notes in this case were sent to 3 media outlets that were, we understand, KOLD, K-Gun, and TMZ, but included no phone number, no email, not necessarily an encrypted channel, no way for the family to communicate back. In your experience with the FBI, when a kidnapper wants some money, what does the communication pattern typically look like? And is this case following any sort of communication pattern from legitimate people who legitimately want a ransom to release a hostage here?
Yeah, no. There's simple answers to complex questions sometimes, and this is it on the notes.
Yeah,
it's not legitimate. I mean, the legitimate notes from the perpetrator, yeah, sure, but legitimate that their primary focus was ransom for money for a life. Low probability because of what you just said. You know, we keep going to the stats, the averages, and then common sense, and we just play things out. If money was the objective, then they would make it easy to get the money, and it's not. The first thing that everyone does in a ransom case is show proof of life. The other thing that they also do is keep it extremely private and away from law enforcement as much as possible and celebrity notoriety, so they have a greater chance of manipulating the family into giving the money. None of this is at play right now.
Do you think this just got bigger than they anticipated? That this, whatever happened, it just exploded?
I think it's a distraction and of a panic escalation inside that house. I'm going back. I'm still holding firm on what I've said from the very beginning on this. This was a panic escalation of a home invasion / robbery by someone that had some sort of familiarity with Nancy in her home. And if you're looking at the law of averages for home invasions and robberies of elderly people, they typically target them for 1, they think they have money, 2, they think they'll remain asleep while the invasion's going on. Something went sideways in that house for an escalation, and they took her to keep deflection away from the fact on themselves so they can get away. That's the law of stats and averages. Again, my mind always remains open to new data and information coming in, but from what we're seeing that is publicly available, this is what we're leaning towards right now.
Are we even talking about the same people? Are we talking about the same people that took Nancy Guthrie as being the same people behind any of these notes? Or are these 2 totally different crimes that are taking place? And the notes, really, they give hope when there doesn't seem to be a lot of it. And we're clinging to this idea that maybe these are legitimate, but there's not a lot of evidence to point to that they are. I mean, if this was a home invasion gone wrong, if it escalated, she woke up, something happened, and they're like, well, shit, the only way we're not going to get caught is if she's gone. Whether that means she's kidnapped or she's dead. If you're doing a home invasion, you're not in the business of kidnapping people, typically. Right. So the idea that, hey, let's hold her for ransom just suddenly doesn't seem to be a logical idea. It doesn't seem to track very well. What does seem to track is that oh, she saw us, she can turn us in now, or maybe she scratched somebody, it'll be DNA and she will be part of the evidence. So we better get rid of the evidence, meaning her. And I'm not trying to be cold or callous, I'm just speaking on what this is. Are these two totally different things? What's your take on that?
I think it's a moronic escalation of a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
One thing that's been consistent with all the cases we've covered, guys, is the fact that none of these people are intelligent. Zero. Yeah. There's zero emotional intelligence. And so every time someone says they're sophisticated, they're using, Bitcoin sophisticated technique, okay, maybe one element, but the rest of it's complete chaos and stupidity. And so what you have here, and again, it's typical on cases that are similar to this, is that in a panic mode where things didn't go according to plan, and they never ever do when you're dealing with human life and their desire to remain alive and intact, is that things go sideways, and people very rarely, especially when you have low emotional intelligence, plan for things going sideways. So having a plan B or C, so they're improvising on the fly. A lot of times when you hit panic mode, improvising on the fly, you do dumb things like take bodies, take people, and then so again, you do your thought experiment, place yourself in the moron's shoes.
Moron.
Moron.
It's a sophisticated way of saying moron.
Like I shop at the Target.
Yeah, the morons at the Target.
Morons. I listen to too much Audible books. And so you place yourself in the moron's shoes, and they're thinking, all right, I forgot to grab anything in the house, or there was nothing there because the daughter takes care of everything. And so in panic mode, after they depart the house, let's see if we can get something from this. Let's say we have her and hold her for ransom. Let's try to cut our losses. I can totally see this as not this sophisticated operation, but a bunch of, or a few, or even just one complete bungling idiots that tried this as plan B.
Do you think that's what happened though? There's little pieces kind of hanging by your shoestring here that make me wonder, maybe this is what happened. I don't think statistically your odds are very good that the people with the home invasion kidnapped her for ransom. Right. But maybe. I mean, you have some of these notes. Harvey Levin from TMZ, they got one of the notes. He has described the note as grammatically perfect, structured, and layered. That doesn't mean a lot. Maybe it does. I'm going to run it all by you.
Maybe he has Grammarly.
Maybe, or just had it written by ChatGPT. Boom, you're done. And written with what officials called it familiarity with the Tucson area. Again, you could do it with GPT. Here's the part that that Harvey, I guess, has been sticking on. And it makes me wonder a little bit, too. Apparently, there's a reference in there about Nancy's Apple Watch and a placement of it that you wouldn't necessarily immediately think. That not in a place you would necessarily immediately think. Those are Harvey's exact words. That's the quote when he was describing where that watch was. So that makes you think, oh, maybe there is some information in this ransom note that is something only a kidnapper would know. A lot of the other pieces that have been leaked out or that we're talking about, I don't know. To me, it just reads like, take a guess. And like, if you throw 20 facts out there about a 84-year-old woman and her home, and if you just look at the house, you Google the house, you walk, if you have any familiarity with the house, you could probably list a bunch of things that one may say, well, maybe only the killer would know, or the kidnapper would know this or that. But in reality, anybody with an educated guess could probably guess you have a backyard floodlight, and things of that nature. What Nancy was wearing that night. We don't know what Nancy was wearing that night when she went to bed because Nancy's not around. So I don't even know how we actually answer that question. From a behavioral standpoint, what does this level of this possible interior knowledge with the notes tell you about who likely wrote them?
So again, we'll talk about this on the other parts, I'm sure, but So if we keep going down my road of probability and of home invasion going sideways, from someone that had knowledge of Nancy, her home, which comes down to it was a worker of some sort, someone that was involved. And I'll use my own family as an example. So my mother-in-law lives down in Florida. A number of years ago, when they first moved down to Florida, she's elderly. She's roughly Nancy's age now. And when they have workers come to the house, my wonderful, kindly mother-in-law will take someone that's maybe working on a roof. She'll invite them in. She'll give them some iced tea. Yep. She'll sit them down, have some lemonade, walk them around the house, offer the bathroom, all these things that good, honest, ethically and moral people do for others out of the kindness and generosity of their heart. It is very, very easy for someone nefarious intentions to take up all those data points, log them in, make a note, and there you go. I mean, this is such an easy thing for a malicious social engineer to do with very limited access. Just a one-time. I mean, think about the amount of data that you could take in a 30-second or 2-minute bathroom break inside someone's house to get exactly all the details you need to do that. It's no time at all. And so the inside job, I think it was an inside job. I think it was an inside job by someone who's worked inside that house or outside that house that used the bathroom or something like that from Nancy, who is a good, kind woman that everyone loved to death, or is a referral from someone at the church, or her daughter who was doing all the caretaking, setting up most likely, we don't know because it has been reported, but setting up all the appointments, setting up all the maintenance on the house. She did it for years and years and years. And so there's the treasure trove of information. It's coming from the one person or one family that was doing all the caretaking of everyone that had access in and out of that house.
And we'll talk about the crime scene, and we're going to talk about all of the activity, not only at Nancy's house, but also Annie's house over the weekend in just a little bit. So I want to get to that. I want to keep talking about the Ransom area right now. I mean, there's so many facets to this case, but we got to kind of break them down in a way that makes sense. Otherwise, we have chaos, and that's what I've been trying to wrap my brain around all weekend. The family has posted, as of our recording here, 3 separate videos over the last several days. I've obviously asking for proof of life, saying we need to know without a doubt that she's alive and that you have her. And then by Saturday, the message and the language has shifted a little bit. We've received your message and we understand we will pay. That's a massive change in posture with really no public indication that proof of life was ever provided. Behind the scenes, Robin, can you give me any insight or give us any insight what might be going on? Are there communications possibly happening that are not public knowledge as of this point, or is this just kind of a blind plea out onto Instagram that hopes maybe the people who are writing these notes legitimately have Nancy?
Yeah, I think it's a blind plea. So undoubtedly, I should say, the FBI crisis negotiators and profilers are involved with helping the family craft the language and what goes in them. Everything ultimately does come down to what the family wants to do, and with the support of people with reps. And there's been an escalation in what they're saying. There's an empathetic plea. There's a very transactional plea. And then there's a, hey, we'll pay plea. And all of them are a great escalation of trying to elicit response by the guy that did this. If there was communication outside of these that were back channel we're unaware of, you wouldn't be seeing these types of communication. I think the greatest frustration they're dealing with right now is that you have crisis negotiators involved. But crisis negotiators, it takes 2 people to negotiate. This is one-sided, so they're literally blasting all they can, very well-crafted language into the Ethernet, seeing that they gather a response. And the one thing they keep asking for is a proof of life. And so on the other side, there's only 2 possibilities: unwilling or unable.
Yeah.
And especially the deadlines have passed. We've got another one coming here shortly, and we're live as we're recording this. So what happens when that next deadline passes and we haven't seen her? I mean, is it time to really start thinking the obvious here? Sadly.
Do you want the stats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the stats are pretty clear on this. There hasn't been, I looked it up, there hasn't been one case in recorded history that we know of where there has been zero proof of life given where someone's been returned alive.
What was your take on their language in that last video? I think a lot of people are talking about that, talking about, we want her back so we, and I don't have the exact verbiage, but it was about celebrating her. I mean, that makes a lot of people go to celebration of life, and they think of things of that nature. Was that language crafted particularly specifically with a reason to be put in that video? I would think whatever they're going to put out is going to have run through a lot of people before it hits send. What was your take on that? The celebration that seemed like a weird choice of words for a plea to bring a kidnapped victim back.
You know, it was an interesting choice of words. It struck me like it struck everyone else. It struck me just like it hit you, and that is the celebration of life, of her passing, right? As a potentiality. And so so reverse the optic and put yourself on the other side. To me, it's an empathetic poke, I think, of trying to allow the person that did this to, hey, we want her alive, but here's some language in here. We just want her back in any condition we can get her back in. And it was more of a permission, from my understanding, a permission of them to, hey, if you only have the body, we'll pay for that. Again, with the main intent, get response. Give us a hint, give us something. And
did that "we will pay" message really mean we will pay, or is there some sort of hidden meaning to that? I mean, and I'm not trying to like get too elusive here, but does that mean something else? I know you've said, it's designed to elicit response. It's designed to elicit something from somebody. We don't know if they have her or if it's somebody that's just trying to steal money or whatnot. But we're talking $6 million here on the line in Bitcoin, reportedly, is the deadline for Monday night, with no proof of life. Who knows how this will age, but as of right now, where it's Monday morning when we're recording this, what do you think they do? What should they do? I mean, I can guarantee everybody behind the scenes is saying don't pay it without proof of life.
I don't think,
but it's their mom. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it could be a complete red herring. Do you pay it? Do you let it? I don't know. What do you think?
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I think so. If there's no way to track it, there'd be no, again, this pure Robbins conjecture, right?
Yeah.
If there's no way to track it and retrieve it, you're not going to pay it. Because it'd be like taking $6 million and throwing it down a toilet. Because at this point, I think the outcome, if you don't have a sign of life or a sign of anything or any communication whatsoever, the outcome is not going to change. And I would think the only way they do pay it is if there is a way to track it, if there is a way to have law enforcement say, go ahead, we can do something with this if you do that. I think, from my gathering from the family and from everyone involved, that we statement in there is we collectively are willing to engage and do this. We are all on board, meaning team family, team NBC, whatever it is all on board with doing this. And also you gave I thought she did a great job, Savannah did, of showing no reticence, no hesitation. In other words, hey, showing compliance and malleability to their desire to kind of out them on the fact that, hey, we're being compliant. Where are you? And yeah, that's what
exactly. Where are you? Where are you? What are you? And I think anybody better be thinking very long and hard right now if they don't have Nancy Guthrie and they're trying to get money out of somebody. If there's ever a kidnapping case with the full resources of the United States federal government looking at you, if there is a way in hell to track this, and we know from any sort of regular human being using Bitcoin or some of these methods here, there are untraceable ways of doing this. But if there's some way of doing it, they're going to have that way available at this point in time. It may be doubtful that that's even a possibility. It might not be a lever that can be pulled no matter who you are. But anybody that's out there demanding money at this time, they will very likely find you. So you better have something or don't play this game.
I think
it's not a game.
I think they're running hard. Again, I just reversed it. I think the abduction aspect of this, the ransom aspect of it, is a distraction from them running hard.
Yeah. Your thoughts in the comment section on YouTube or on our Substack. Hidden Killers Pod is where you can go to get to the Substack, and YouTube, obviously. Weigh in on the conversation there.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers Podcast.